Don't fall. Oh my goodness. So the phone was fine until I touched it to start the recording. Anyways, hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So, even though it's 2 days before October, I decided to make a list of scary stories that I have either encountered or had dreams about. So far, I only have one nightmare on here. Actually, I'm gonna make that 2 nightmares because one of the stories takes place in an actual person, but the first half of the story happens in my dream. So technically 2 nightmares on here. The rest have actually happened in person, and I only have 10 of them so far. But there's 31 days in October, and I have always wanted to do like really fun stuff when it comes to like Halloween and Christmas and stuff like that. But I'm broke, so I'm gonna start by telling some sort of scary story, whether it's, a scary story that has happened to me, a scary dream that I've had, or an experience that I have been told by other people. I just thought of another one that I can write down, so I'm gonna write that down real quick before I forget about it. It involves my sister. So, give me a moment. It's just put my stylus in front of it. Okay, so anyways, I'm going to attempt to tell some sort of scary story or spooky story or dream every single day of October. So, this is basically going to be video 1, and even though I'm recording this video a couple days before October, you won't see this video until the 1st. So, if you're watching this, hello guys, welcome to October. So I'm just going to go down the list, and I'm going to cross them off as I go. So basically today's story is actually about a nightmare that I had. And this is kind of driven by some of a real life fear that I had, and that's of cars and like driving and stuff, because there's a lot of times where I just have anxiety about driving where I don't necessarily want to drive, because when I reached the age where normal people would be like, oh well, I'm gonna go take the test, I'm gonna do my research, and I'm gonna learn how to drive and all this other stuff, I'm over here like, yeah, but I'm at the age where statistically more accidents happen and people die because of car accidents and drunk driving and texting and driving and all that other stuff. And I was like, I don't want to be that person, so I'm just gonna avoid driving altogether. Well, in this particular night terror or bad dream or scary dream or whatever it is, part of it involved a car. I believe these are 2 separate dreams, but I'm kind of remembering them all mashed together, so I'm just going to tell both of them as if they are one dream, because I'm not 100% sure. They might be 2 separate dreams. But first, my dad, he used to have this black Blazer car, and inside the car, we were driving down the street. It wasn't like our street, but there's like the main road, and then there's like the different streets that you can go on to where all the housing was. And we were driving down that main street, and we had passed our street, and we were supposed to turn, and all of a sudden, like, I'm on the outside of the car, and I'm just holding on, because, like, behind the Blazer there was a giant, I don't know what you call them, spare tire bag things, and you just, like, attach it. So here's the trunk of the car, and it swings out, and then the piece of glass kind of comes up, but on the outside of the trunk is the big tire holder thing. And so I was holding on to that, and my feet were just resting on the bottom of the thing. I think there was like a trailer hitch or something. Like, there was a little bump, and I can stand on it, like, with my feet. And I was holding on to it, and then somehow I ended up in the car, and all of the windows were stuck up, and we couldn't get them to roll down. And for whatever reason, we had the AC on, and it was frosting up the entire car, and everything in the car was, like, really frozen. Like, you could see, like, the breath, like, your breath in the air. That's how cold it was. And my dad was driving the car, and he passed out. Well, he's the driver of the car. We're going down the street, and he passed out because the air and everything inside the car is now, like, frozen. And so we crashed into the side of a house. And I believe in the dream he passed away because of that. But I woke up before I could figure out if that happened, or if, like, whatever, like, someone, like, pulled him out of the car and he was like a rag doll. Which brings me to another story that I'm thinking of that actually happened in real life, where my neighbor was driving drunk, and he, like, fell asleep at the wheel or something, and the car flew into the tank outside the house, and it, like, exploded the engine or whatever, and they had to drag him out of the car before that happened. But he was a rag doll. And it might be, like, 2 different times in my life, but that experience and me being afraid of driving and losing my dad all kind of, like, bunched up into one, like, bad dream. And then later on, I was in my house, and there was this dude that was, like, on the news or something, and I believe it was, like, Halloween night, and so there was, like, a bunch of trick-or-treaters and stuff, and he knocks on my door, and I'm like, oh my god, don't answer the door. Like, it's a bad person, we don't need to do that. And so I went into the garage, and I was talking to somebody. I don't remember who it was, but it was like a boyfriend or something. I don't have, like, a clear face or a name to this person. And they were fed up. They were like, oh no, we're not going to have no killer come in here, no. I'm going to go, give him a piece of my mind. And he stormed through the kitchen, went through the living room, opened the door, and, like, walked outside. And I come up behind, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, there's a person out there that, is bad. You can't be out here. And it was kind of weird, because, like, the house was giving off light into the yard, but outside was completely dark. And so there was, like, a huge section of the front yard that was lit up, but everything past that was, like, in the shadows. And he was in the shadows, and in, like, a blink of an eye, we forgot about the person. So he was standing in the shadows, and I'm standing on the porch, and then all of a sudden we see this guy come walking up, and then, like, we remember that, oh, we can't be outside. So I rush into the house. He runs into the garage. And I'm like, okay, well, what are you doing? You're going to shut the garage, I'm going to shut the door, whatever, we're going to lock the house up. So I shut the door, and I lock it up, and I run through the house, and I go into the garage. And the garage door is wide open. Like, the big one to get the car into is wide open. And he was like, get in the car, get in the car. I was like, okay, whatever. So I get into the passenger seat. No, not the passenger seat. I get into the driver's seat. And I buckle up. And I'm like honking the horn and I'm screaming for my boyfriend in this dream to get into the car and to hurry up. And for whatever reason, I was shutting the big garage door. Like, I got into the car and buckled up like I was gonna drive away, but we were shutting the garage door. So buckling up into the car was supposedly gonna save me. I don't know how. And it was like this far from closing, and the person makes it into the garage. But it wasn't my boyfriend in the dream that got into the garage. It was the other dude. And he gets into the passenger seat, and I'm like, oh my god, okay, you got in here. And the dude pulls out like a knife or something. And so I'm freaking out, and I'm trying to open the door and crawl out. But I forget that I'm wearing a motherfucking seatbelt. So I shut the door, still attached to the seat. This is how you know it's a dream. Because I was out of the car, and I shut the door, but I was still wearing the seatbelt. So I'm stuck to the car because I'm wearing the seatbelt. And the killer's inside the car. So I have to open the door, undo the seatbelt, take it off of me, re-shut the door, open the garage door again, and run through it while the killer is sitting in the car, in the passenger seat. And he never got me. He got out the car right as the door was shutting again, because I somehow had enough time to shut the garage door again. And I don't know what happened to the boyfriend. He just like disappeared, goodbye, poof, bye, whatever. And I'm so like terrified or whatever. And then after I get out of the garage, there's like another part where it was either me in the driver's seat or it was my dad in the driver's seat, and we were stuck on the outside of the car because we couldn't get it open. Like, the seatbelt was like stuck or something, and we couldn't get it off, and the car was driving by itself through the yard, and it was dragging whoever was in the passenger. It was either me or my dad. It was dragging one of us in the passenger seat on the outside of the car, because like me trying to get away from this supposed killer sitting in my car with me, we can magically get out of the car still in our seatbelt and shut the door behind us. And it was just dragging me along the grass. And then from that, the car crashes into a tree, and I'm able to get free. And then I take off running down the street, and I'm knocking on every single door because I don't know what to do. This killer is after me or whatever. And nobody wants to answer the door. Then my friend and my sister appear in the dream, and they're on the next block over coming towards me, and I run all the way down to the end of the block, and I turn around the corner, and I put my back up against the house on the corner. And then I get their attention, but then I hid because I saw the dude coming down the street, and they walked towards them, and then the dude never seen me. And then when I thought the coast was clear, I decided, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go, around, and I'm going to go back up there and see where everyone else is at. And everyone's trick-or-treating. Like, all the kids are out, everyone's going door to door, giving candy and all this other stuff. And I'm like, okay, what just happened here? Like, where's the boyfriend? Where's my sister? Where's the other friend? Or, where's all these people? And all of a sudden, okay, I don't know if you've seen Fantasia, and how the sky has a face and a body, and when it went, I think it was nighttime, it just kind of like blanketed the sky. That came to life in my dream. And it was like a dark purple-ish black color. And it's just like shielding the entire sky. And out of nowhere, there's like a hole that forms in the middle of the street, and it's filled with water as deep as the ocean. And in this same dream, my mom died because she got trapped in a hole and I couldn't get her out. And I was scared because I'm running from this killer dude. The sky is moving, literally. I see the face and everything, and it's like of a Dracula type person with black hair. And he's just like, aw, and like, you know, it's Halloween, whatever. I have some pretty weird dreams. And so I have to leave her and I have to get back to the house. I get to the house, and outside the window is another like hole in the ground that's ocean deep, filled with water, but this time there's like a bunch of piranhas and electric eels inside the water, so you can't touch the water. And then I lock myself inside the house. And then I woke up because I could hear like the water bubbling and everything. And so I woke up thinking, oh my god, this is real, my mom just died. So I woke up crying. And the fact that everything was like really weird. So I literally had to go to my mom and dad's room to tell them about the dream and to make sure that she was still here, because that was really trippy. So, yeah. I have weird dreams. And it was kind of scary. Like, the dream was scary because I was in the dream and all of these things was happening. But, like, looking back at it and not actually living any of it or going through any of it, it's not as scary as some of the other stories that I will be telling. But that is a scary dream that I had. So, yeah. That's a scary dream for you. Like I said, I'm going to be doing my very best to post a story of some sort every single day of October. So you will see this video on the 1st, and stay tuned for story number 2. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys later.